I mean, the arcade era of gaming. I mean, you still get arcades now, of course, but arcades. I don't know. Do kids still go to arcades though? Like, is that still a thing? Because I know there's places you can go and they have arcades, and there's even like places that kind of have like a bunch of them, and they'll have like they'll make like a theme of it. But even those places, they're really more geared towards adults, as far as I can tell. You know, there's maybe Namco World, I think, or Namco Land, or whatever it's called. I remember it's Namco something, but that's on like the embankment near the London Eye. But that's more of a night, like a day out type thing, like a, you know what I mean? It's not a place where you go to hang out after school. So I don't know, do kids still do that, where they like go to a place after school, or maybe, you know, during school, and just, you know, waste money on the arcades? I don't know if that's still a thing, like, you know, because we would do that. There was a couple of places, one in particular that was an arcade spot. It was called, I don't know what's actually called, but we called it Precinct because it was in a shopping precinct. Which at the time I didn't know what shopping precincts was. I just knew that when we said going precincts, we meant going to the arcades there. Anyway, but yeah, we'd go there after school, and it was like this real dingy place. You know, there'll be a cashier that would change your money into coins, so you could use it at the machines. And you just wait for it up at the arcade. You'll play the game. You'll watch other people play games. That was like the early days of Twitch. That was 90s version of Twitch, where you just crowd on the arcade watching somebody else play, waiting for your turn. You know. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I doubt kids still do that now. I mean, I'm sure somebody does, because like I say, arcades do still exist. I know that, but I feel like that era of arcades and that kind of hanging out at the arcades and going to places like that, it's probably not something that happens anymore, because I guess these days people, you know, if you're playing Fortnite on your iPad, you know, you're probably hanging out after school at maybe a friend's house or at a park or something like that, you know, or maybe you go to like a chicken shop or something and you both got Fortnite on your iPad and you kind of play like that. Which, I mean, I guess it's cool that kids are still playing games, right? Of course, but that kind of old school, yeah. Well, I guess all good things have to come to an end, right? But that's mad though. Try explaining that to a kid now. Like, we would go to a place after school to spend money we didn't have on a game that you'll never own. Actually, to be fair, kids these days are spending ridiculous amounts of money on Fortnite and whatever else they're playing. So maybe it's not too much of a far-fetched concept. I'm just saying, maybe it's not too much of a far-fetched concept. So like your friends would go in and you might watch them play or something like that, or, you know, maybe if there was somebody like that was like maybe really good at a particular game or whatever, and they might be there, you might watch them play for a little bit, especially like with, oh man, I remember when like Mortal Kombat came out, and was it Mortal? Yeah, I think it was Mortal Kombat. I'm pretty sure it was Mortal Kombat. But anyway, it was a fighting game that I'm 80 to 90% certain was Mortal Kombat. And in fact, yeah, no, I'm definitely sure it's Mortal Kombat, because I remember this bit. I was like, you know, the finishing moves, because back then you couldn't look up finishing moves on the internet. Like, when it says finish him, like, you couldn't look that up on the internet. You had to figure that stuff out by, like, I don't know, maybe you know somebody who tells you how it's done, or maybe you find it in a magazine or something like that. But you had to figure that stuff out, and not only if you had to know how it's done, you had to be good enough to pull it off, because those moves were tricky. Which means when you saw somebody do a finishing move, it meant something. When that finish him came up in Mortal Kombat and somebody actually pulled off a finishing move, you were like, whoa. You know what I mean? Because that meant something. Because it meant that not only did they pull off the move, but they had to be playing that game enough and get good at it enough to be able to beat enough people to be able to practice doing that finishing move enough times to just pull it off. You know what I mean? So when you saw that, it was like, yo, just it meant something. It really meant something back then. But yeah, we'd be crowding around the machines, just watching people play and just waiting for your turn. You know what I mean? I had like 2 moves on Mortal Kombat with Scorpion. It was a spear, put him over, get over here, down, uppercut. That was my 2 moves. I don't know how to play the game. I just had those 2 moves. But here's the thing, though: those 2 moves served me well. They served me well. Not against anybody who actually knew what they were doing, of course, but you know, it served me well for at least, you know, a few people who even never played a game before, just weren't that actually worse at it than I was, but it served me well. Get over here! Oh, get over here! Oh. When it stays on, you just like, you put your money down on the thing to let them know that you're up next. Man, you know what? I'm just thinking, like, nobody stole the money, which is crazy when you think about it. At least in my area, like, because there's bare thieves in my school. You know what I mean? Bare thieves in the area, bare thieves in the school. But when it came to like that, when it stays on, people just put their money up to let you know they're on next. Nobody stole the money. Man, I guess there's certain things where it's like, people just like respect the rules, so it's like, all right, cool.